Hey, how you doing? So this is for Jacob, and you sent me a video of a Paradiddle exercise you were working on, and asked for a little bit of feedback. So here you go. Nice to meet you again. I'm Brandon, and you can call me B. And I drum, you drum. You just keep sharing drum stories, and here you go. So first off, I want to talk about just the two main, I guess it would really be like three main weights that you would use in exercise. It may be unconventional to talk about like physics in this sense, but and my my subpar knowledge. So here's what I got. Most of what you're playing, if I may be so crass or so bold, is heavy-handed. So what I mean by that is you could play the same way you're playing and be successful on like your legs, but you'd also be hurting yourself. So I kind of advise you to maybe try that kind of surface. Maybe not your legs, but like a non-reboundy surface, which you probably already have. But when you do, try not to destroy the pillow, which I'm sure you're capable of doing. At this point, you probably practice so much that you have enough chop that you can play all the notes. But instead of hammering them all down, try to finesse them and rebound them more. So you just want the bead to bounce on whatever surface that it is that you're playing, not like the shoulder, just the bead. And then also I want you to think about the touch. So again, back to the weight. The accents versus the taps. If everything had the same, quote, weight to it, like the same hand weight to stick, and you let the speed of the part, or you let the contrast of the part, either whether it be tap or accent, or like quick accent to tap, or the other way. If you think of everything as being the same weight in your hand, like everything's a tap, then you can loosen up your grip a little bit more, like in the hand and also throughout the forearm, and then further that, the arm. So less squeeze in general, so less like holding the stick there, just kind of guiding where it goes. So that would just be holding the stick in spot without the added pressure on the stick. So don't continue the death grip. So when you hear things like, do the death grip, don't keep it. Just hold that shape, but then let the blood flow. Make sure there's no white knuckling. I advise against that as much as possible. Like, it's necessary, but white knuckling would just be like when you grab your stick so hard that you could see your knuckles turn white. That just means no blood is flowing there. So relax, let the stick breathe, let the tone happen instead of being choked. And now try the exercise without diddles. The same Paradiddle primer that you sent me. So try the exercise without diddles. To control the weight with just eighth notes and quarter notes, right? Or 16th notes and eighth notes and 12th notes. So that would be something like, and I haven't worked all the way through, but like, am I missing a note there? Yeah. Da-da-touchdown, 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 da-da-dum-dum. Something like that. Continue the exercise all the way through. Again, that's kind of just, a general look at it, but with a little bit more time, you could take weight off of each note that you're throwing and be more efficient with your energy. And I say this so that way you can activate more of the rebound, the natural tone of the stick, the breath of the drum or the pad. Because ultimately finesse, and a huge range of control. So you have this one. Now I'm asking you to do this one. Not feather tapping. Don't use feather tapping as like, if you've ever heard the word sound quality, take the word sound quality and just turn it around. The quality of sound. So instead of thinking of sound quality as like intense and full and hard, like I've seen, just the very next video that you posted was like an audition video, and your eights were like all the weight of Thor per note, you know, like Hercules per note. So back off, and like the force behind it. Back off on the force and increase the guidance of the stick. So that means getting out of the way of the stick a little bit more and not holding it down every note. So you don't have to destroy the head like maybe like an old idea of sound quality is. Yeah. However, that is just the maximum side of velocity. That's like the fastest the stick would go. And even then, when you're doing that exercise, like a velocity kind of exercise, you don't want to do downstroke, dead strokes. You want to rebound the stick fast and get back to that spot as quick as you can. So activating the flexors and extensor muscles in your forearm while not letting the elbow pivot, right? You want to keep the elbow there, send the energy forward from the bead, and also lift it up from the fulcrum. So from here, you're lifting up the stick instead of here, right? So look at how the forearm is working in this sense. I am not adding extra, which may be necessary for certain things. Sure, but you don't need that for. Maybe if that was the part, like it had to be that loud, but for efficiency's sake and for control, to increase your consistency, back off on weight, increase on guidance, back off on force, increase on flow. The lighter you could play the note, the faster you can send it. Think of a rock, just the last analogy, think of a rock, right? I'm gonna skip it on a pond, skip it down. I'm gonna take my rock and I'm gonna skip it across a pond, nice still water. If I had a giant boulder and I just threw that up and the arc was up, big parabola, it's not gonna go that way. It's not gonna bounce across the water. It's going to sink really hard and really big. So I want you to think of more of a lighter, more refined shape, more like a disc, high rotation, lots of aerodynamic, and that thing, as it's spinning, high velocity, send it from your finger, just like this. High velocity, its rotation is increasing its aerodynamics, and it skips along that still pond, right? Think about that while you're playing this exercise instead of forcing the notes down to get, quote, sound quality. Think of more control in the rhythm than the quality of the sound. It still has to sound good, but hopefully that makes sense. Happy drumming. Send me a video anytime. Hope that helps.